Imagine you are sitting in a quiet room, far away from the chaos of the world. The noise, the rush, the stress, it's all distant. In this moment, you are at peace. No worries, no distractions, just a deep sense of calm. What if I told you that this kind of peace could become a regular part of your life? What if you could find clarity in moments of confusion and joy in the middle of life's challenges? What if you could look at your daily struggles not as burdens, but as opportunities for growth? Now, let me ask you, have you ever felt like life is constantly pulling you in different directions? Have you ever wished for a sense of purpose, a deeper understanding of your role in this world? How often do you find yourself searching for answers, but never quite feeling satisfied with the ones you find? You see, every day we wake up, we face a world filled with distractions, expectations, and pressures. We're constantly juggling responsibilities, dealing with stress, and seeking happiness in the wrong places. But what if there was a way to break free from this cycle? What if you could live a life that was not only fulfilling, but also peaceful and grounded? Buddhism offers answers to these very questions. It's not just a religion or philosophy. It's a practical guide for transforming your life. The teachings of Buddhism provide a path to inner peace, wisdom, and compassion, tools to help you navigate the challenges of everyday life. Whether you are seeking happiness, balance, or meaning, the principles of Buddhism can help you find them. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we explore the transformative power of ancient wisdom in modern life. If you're curious about how Buddhism can change your life, you're in the right place. Before we dive deeper, remember, there are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what resonates with you or what you'd like to learn more about. In this video, we're going to explore how the teachings of Buddhism can offer you a new perspective on life. It's time to embark on a journey of self-discovery and inner transformation. Stay with us. What follows may just change your life forever. The life of Siddhartha, understanding the roots of enlightenment. Let me tell you the story of a man who, like many of us, sought to understand the meaning of life. This man was born in a place far away, in a time long ago. His name was Siddhartha Gautama, and his journey would lead him to become the Buddha. But before he was the Buddha, he was just a man, a human being like you and me, with questions, doubts, and struggles. Siddhartha was born into a life of privilege. He was the son of a king, and as a child, he had everything he could ever need: wealth, comfort, and luxury. He was surrounded by beautiful gardens, fine food, and all the pleasures one could desire. His father, the king, wanted nothing more than to protect him from the hardships of the world. He kept Siddhartha sheltered, safe within the walls of the palace, far from the suffering and pain that existed outside. But as Siddhartha grew older, something inside him began to stir. He started to question the life he was living. He felt there was something more, something deeper, something beyond the comforts of his royal existence. So, one day, he asked for permission to leave the palace and see the world beyond its gates. His father, fearing the world would corrupt his son, reluctantly agreed, but only on the condition that Siddhartha would not see anything that could disturb him. Siddhartha, eager to explore, set out on his journey. And as he walked through the streets of the city, something unexpected happened. He saw a man who was old, his body hunched and fragile. Siddhartha had never seen aging before, and it left him stunned. He had always believed that life was about enjoying youth, beauty, and strength. But here was a reminder that age was a part of life, a reality that everyone must face. Then, Siddhartha saw a man who was sick, lying in agony. He had never witnessed illness before, and it shook him to his core. How could anyone live a life of peace if they were constantly at risk of suffering from disease and pain? His mind raced with questions. Why does sickness exist? How do people find peace when their bodies betray them? And then, Siddhartha encountered a man who had died. He had never known death firsthand, and the sight of the lifeless body left him perplexed. He wondered, what happens after death? Where do we go? What is the purpose of life if death is inevitable? As Siddhartha continued his journey, he realized something profound. Life was full of suffering. No matter how much wealth, beauty, or power one possessed, suffering would eventually come. It was inevitable, and no one, no matter how rich or powerful, could escape it. This realization deeply disturbed him, but it also awakened something within him. He knew that there had to be a way to understand suffering, to overcome it, and to live a life that was free from its grip. The more Siddhartha reflected on what he had seen, the more he felt a calling to find a way to end suffering, not just for himself, but for all beings. He realized that the key to understanding life, to understanding our suffering, lay not in avoiding it, but in facing it directly. And so, Siddhartha decided to leave his life of luxury and embark on a path of spiritual discovery. He left behind his family, his wealth, and his status as a prince. It wasn't an easy decision. Imagine having everything you could ever want, living in a palace surrounded by luxury, and then choosing to give it all up to seek something more. But Siddhartha was determined. He was searching for the truth, the answers to the deepest questions of life. He studied with the wisest teachers of his time, learning from them the practices of meditation and asceticism. He pushed his body to the limits, fasting, meditating for hours, and subjecting himself to extreme conditions. Yet, no matter what he did, he still felt a deep sense of emptiness. The answers he sought were not to be found in self-denial or physical suffering. One day, after years of searching, Siddhartha sat beneath a tree, later known as the Bodhi tree, and made a vow. He vowed to stay there, to meditate, until he found the truth. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Siddhartha was determined to stay, no matter how long it took. He focused his mind, and as he sat in deep meditation, something incredible happened. Siddhartha experienced a moment of deep clarity. His mind became still, free from the distractions of the world. In that moment, he saw the nature of life and suffering with perfect clarity. He understood that suffering was a part of life, but it didn't have to control us. He realized that the key to overcoming suffering was not through external circumstances, but through inner transformation. Siddhartha had become the Buddha, the awakened one. He had found the answers he was searching for. He had discovered the path to freedom from suffering, not through avoiding pain, but through understanding it and transforming the way we relate to it. What Siddhartha realized, and what he shared with the world, is that suffering is a universal experience. We all face it in different forms, whether it's through aging, illness, death, or the challenges of everyday life. But the good news is that there is a way to find peace in the midst of suffering. There is a way to awaken to the true nature of life and to live in harmony with it. Siddhartha's journey from the sheltered life of a prince to the awakened state of the Buddha is a story that speaks to all of us. It shows us that no matter who we are, no matter what our background is, we all have the potential to awaken to the truth of our existence. We don't need to be special or extraordinary. We just need to be willing to look deeply at life, to face our suffering, and to find the wisdom that can set us free. This is the essence of Buddhism, the search for truth, the understanding of suffering, and the transformation of the mind and heart. Siddhartha's journey teaches us that no matter how lost or confused we may feel, there is always a way to find our way back to peace, to wisdom, and to love. Now, as we continue this journey together, remember that the Buddha's story is not just a historical tale. It's a reminder that we, too, can awaken to the truth of our own lives. The path of Buddhism offers us the tools to understand our suffering, to find meaning in our lives, and to live with compassion, mindfulness, and wisdom. And just like Siddhartha, we can all find the peace that we seek if we are willing to look within and follow the path with an open heart. The Four Noble Truths, a pathway out of suffering. In Buddhism, there is a powerful teaching that can help us understand the nature of our suffering and how to free ourselves from it. This teaching is known as the Four Noble Truths, and it is the foundation of Buddhist practice. These truths are simple but profound, and they hold the key to transforming our lives. If we can truly understand them, they can guide us toward a life of peace, wisdom, and compassion. The first noble truth is the truth of suffering or dukkha. Suffering is something that all of us experience at some point in our lives. It may come in many forms: physical pain, emotional distress, or mental turmoil. But suffering is not limited to the obvious hardships we face. It also includes the subtle dissatisfaction we feel in the everyday moments of our lives. We may feel a sense of unease or dissatisfaction even when things seem to be going well. This is because, according to Buddhism, everything in life is impermanent. The things we attach to, whether they are possessions, relationships, or experiences, can never provide lasting happiness. The more we cling to them, the more we set ourselves up for disappointment. But here's the good news. Acknowledging suffering is the first step to freeing ourselves from it. Many people spend their lives avoiding or denying suffering, trying to push it away or escape from it. But the Buddha taught that by facing suffering head-on and understanding its true nature, we can begin to let go of it. Suffering, in this sense, is not something to fear, but something to understand and learn from. The second noble truth is the cause of suffering, which is craving or attachment. We suffer because we desire things to be different than they are. We want pleasure, comfort, and security, and we fear pain, loss, and change. This craving is what binds us to the cycle of suffering. It's like trying to hold on to a rope that is slipping through your fingers. No matter how tightly you grip it, the rope keeps slipping away, causing more frustration. Our attachment to things, whether it's people, possessions, or even our own ideas about who we are, creates suffering. This is because all things are temporary, and when we try to hold on to them, we only set ourselves up for loss. But once we understand that craving is the cause of suffering, we can begin to free ourselves from it. This doesn't mean we should give up all our desires or stop caring about the things we love. It means we need to let go of the unhealthy attachments that cause us pain. We can learn to enjoy life without clinging to it, to appreciate things without becoming obsessed with them, and to embrace change rather than fear it. The third noble truth is the cessation of suffering, or nirodha. This truth tells us that it is possible to end suffering. The good news is that suffering is not something we're doomed to endure forever. If we can let go of our craving and attachment, we can experience a state of peace and freedom. This is not some distant, unreachable goal. It is available to us in every moment. The Buddha taught that by cultivating wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline, we can gradually free ourselves from suffering. This path is not easy, but it is possible. It requires patience, persistence, and a deep commitment to change. The fourth noble truth is the path that leads to the cessation of suffering, known as the Noble Eightfold Path. This path is a practical guide for living a life that is free from suffering. It consists of 8 interconnected practices that help us develop wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. These practices are right understanding, right intentions, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. Each of these steps is designed to help us cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us, and to live in a way that promotes peace, kindness, and wisdom. The Eightfold Path is not a rigid set of rules. It is a flexible framework that can be adapted to our individual lives. It provides us with the tools we need to overcome our cravings and attachments, to cultivate compassion and understanding, and to live with a clear and peaceful mind. Right understanding is the foundation of the path. It means seeing the world as it truly is, without the distortions of our desires, fears, or preconceived notions. Right understanding allows us to see the 4 noble truths clearly and to understand the impermanent and interconnected nature of all things. This understanding helps us to let go of our attachments and live more freely. Right intentions follow from right understanding. It means cultivating a mind that is free from harmful desires and intentions. Instead of wanting to harm others or seeking selfish gains, we develop intentions that are motivated by kindness, compassion, and wisdom. Right intentions help us to act with a pure heart and to approach life with an attitude of goodwill and generosity. Right speech is about speaking truthfully, kindly, and respectfully. Our words have power, and they can either uplift or harm others. By practicing right speech, we learn to communicate in ways that foster harmony and understanding. We avoid gossip, lies, and harsh words, and instead speak in ways that promote peace and connection. Right action involves living in accordance with ethical principles. This means refraining from actions that cause harm to others, and instead acting in ways that promote the well-being of all living beings. Right action helps us to cultivate virtues such as honesty, generosity, and integrity, and to live a life of kindness and compassion. Right livelihood encourages us to choose a profession or way of life that is aligned with our ethical values. It means earning a living in a way that does not harm others or contribute to suffering. By practicing right livelihood, we can create a life that is both fulfilling and virtuous. Right effort is about cultivating a positive and balanced mind. It means putting in the effort to overcome negative habits, thoughts, and emotions, while also nurturing positive qualities such as love, patience, and wisdom. Right effort helps us to stay focused on our spiritual practice and to make steady progress on the path. Right mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in each moment. It means paying attention to our thoughts, feelings, and actions without judgment, and being aware of the impermanence of all things. Right mindfulness allows us to see things clearly and respond to life with awareness and compassion. Finally, right concentration is the practice of developing a focused and calm mind through meditation. By training our minds to stay focused and present, we can cultivate a deep sense of inner peace and clarity. Right concentration helps us to overcome distractions and cultivate a state of mental stillness, allowing us to connect with our true nature. Together, the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path provide a complete roadmap for ending suffering and achieving lasting peace. They teach us to understand the nature of suffering, to let go of the attachments that cause it, and to follow a path of wisdom and compassion that leads to freedom. Buddhism doesn't promise an easy life, but it does offer us the tools to navigate life's challenges with grace and understanding. It shows us that by changing the way we think, act, and perceive the world, we can transform our suffering into wisdom and find true happiness. In the end, the Four Noble Truths are not just ideas to be understood. They are truths to be lived. They are not distant concepts, but practical teachings that can guide us through the struggles and challenges of our everyday lives. They show us that no matter where we are or what we face, there's always a way out of suffering. All we need to do is walk the path with mindfulness, patience, and a heart full of compassion. The Eightfold Path, the blueprint for inner peace. Imagine waking up every day feeling clear, calm, and connected, no matter what the world throws your way. Now, imagine that you have a simple, proven way to find that peace. This is the essence of the Eightfold Path, Buddhism's roadmap to living a life that is full of purpose, joy, and, most importantly, peace. In our daily lives, it's easy to get lost. We face endless distractions, pressures, and responsibilities. Sometimes it feels like there's just too much going on, too many things we need to do, and not enough time to find the peace we crave. We chase after things, hoping that they will bring us happiness, but the more we chase, the further we seem to get from that feeling of contentment. This is where the Eightfold Path comes in. It's a practical guide to help us live with clarity, purpose, and compassion. The Eightfold Path is not a set of abstract ideas or complex theories. It's a guide that you can apply to your everyday life. It's about making simple, intentional choices that help you live in alignment with your true nature. It's about letting go of the things that weigh you down and embracing a life that feels light, open, and free. At its core, the Eightfold Path is about developing wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. These three pillars form the foundation of a peaceful, compassionate life. Let's break it down and see how each step can lead to real transformation. Right understanding is the first step on the path. This isn't just about knowing things in the intellectual sense. It's about understanding life as it truly is, the nature of suffering, the causes of suffering, and the possibility of ending suffering. It's realizing that life is full of impermanence, and that clinging to things, whether they're people, possessions, or even ideas, only causes us pain. Right understanding helps us see things clearly, without the filters of attachment or delusion. Right thought follows closely behind. It's about cultivating a mindset that is free from harmful thoughts like anger, greed, and hatred. Instead, it encourages thoughts that are kind, compassionate, and loving. Right thought is the foundation for everything else in your life. It shapes the way you interact with others, the way you approach challenges, and the way you see yourself. By developing right thought, you begin to change the way your mind works, leading to a more peaceful and harmonious life. Right speech is the third step, and it is often one of the hardest to master. In a world filled with gossip, criticism, and judgment, it's easy to speak in ways that cause harm. Right speech is about speaking truthfully, kindly, and without causing harm to others. It's about being mindful of your words and understanding their impact. When you speak with honesty and compassion, your words have the power to heal, uplift, and inspire. Right speech helps you create more positive connections with the people around you and fosters an environment of trust and respect. Right action is the fourth step. This is where our ethical conduct comes into play. It's about living in a way that reflects your values, acting with integrity, and making choices that are good for both yourself and others. Right action encourages you to live in a way that doesn't cause harm to yourself, to others, or to the world around you. This could mean choosing not to lie, steal, or harm others in any way. It's about making decisions that promote well-being and happiness for everyone. Right livelihood is the fifth step. It's about the work you do and how it impacts the world. Right livelihood encourages you to choose a career or occupation that is in line with your values. It's about finding work that is not only meaningful to you, but also helps others and doesn't cause harm. Whether you're a teacher, a doctor, a farmer, or an artist, right livelihood asks you to consider how your work contributes to the greater good. When you align your work with your values, you'll find that it not only brings you more satisfaction, but also brings more peace to your life. Right effort is the sixth step, and it's about the energy you put into your spiritual practice and your life. It's about making the effort to cultivate positive qualities and habits, while also letting go of negative ones. Right effort is about persistence and dedication, choosing to take steps toward your goals, even when it's difficult, and being gentle with yourself when you fall short. It's about developing the strength to keep going, to keep learning, and to keep growing. Right effort isn't about forcing or striving. It's about making the effort to live with intention and mindfulness. Right mindfulness is the seventh step, and it's about developing awareness in everything you do. It's about being fully present in the moment, whether you're eating, working, or simply walking down the street. Right mindfulness helps you stay grounded in the here and now, rather than getting lost in regrets about the past or worries about the future. It encourages you to observe your thoughts, feelings, and actions without judgment, allowing you to respond more skillfully to life's challenges. When you practice right mindfulness, you develop the ability to see things clearly without being clouded by emotions or distractions. Right concentration is the eighth and final step. It's about cultivating a focused, calm, and disciplined mind. Right concentration is often developed through meditation, where you train your mind to stay focused on a single object or thought, gently bringing it back whenever it wanders. This practice helps you develop deep mental clarity and insight. Right concentration allows you to experience the world with greater awareness, leading to a deeper sense of peace and understanding. It's through right concentration that we develop the inner strength to face life's challenges with equanimity and grace. The Eightfold Path is a path of practice, not just theory. It's a way of living that leads to greater peace, happiness, and freedom. Each step builds on the others, and together, they create a powerful framework for transformation. It's not about achieving perfection, it's about progress. Every step you take along the path brings you closer to the peace and wisdom that are already within you. As you begin to incorporate the Eightfold Path into your daily life, you'll notice subtle shifts in your thoughts, actions, and attitudes. You'll find yourself less attached to the things that once caused you stress and more connected to the present moment. You'll begin to see that happiness doesn't come from external circumstances, but from the way you choose to respond to life. The Eightfold Path is available to anyone, at any time, and it's never too late to start. Whether you're just beginning your journey or have been practicing for years, these teachings can help you move closer to the peace and fulfillment that you've been searching for. The path may not always be easy, but it's always worth walking. And with each step you take, you'll find yourself one step closer to a life of true freedom. Impermanence and letting go, the Buddhist key to freedom. Life is constantly changing, and in that change, there is one simple truth. Nothing lasts forever. We can hold on to things, people, and even ideas, but ultimately, everything is impermanent. The person you are today is not the same as the person you were yesterday, and the world around you is also constantly shifting. You can feel it in the seasons, in the passing of time, and even in the way your thoughts change from moment to moment. Impermanence is a fundamental truth of life, and when we truly understand it, we unlock the door to freedom. Think about a time when something in your life was difficult. Maybe you lost someone dear to you, or perhaps you faced a major challenge at work or in your personal life. At that moment, it felt like the pain or difficulty would never end. You might have believed that the situation was permanent, that the hurt or stress would be with you forever. But if you look back now, you can probably see that the situation did, in fact, change. The pain eased. The challenge passed. Life moved on. This is the nature of impermanence. It's not something to fear. It's something to accept. When we learn to embrace the fact that everything is temporary, we stop clinging to things that cause us pain and suffering. We begin to let go of the need to control life, and instead, we allow it to unfold naturally. We stop trying to hold on to what is no longer serving us, and we open ourselves up to new experiences, growth, and peace. In Buddhism, this understanding of impermanence is not just an abstract idea. It's a way of life. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from our attachment to things that are fleeting. We become attached to our identities, our possessions, our relationships, and our desires. We think that by holding on tightly to these things, we can find happiness and security. But in reality, this attachment only causes us more suffering. When we cling to something, we're trying to make it permanent in our lives. We think that if we hold on tightly enough, we can prevent it from changing. But in doing so, we are ignoring the truth of impermanence. Everything in life is changing, and the more we try to stop that change, the more we suffer. The key to freedom lies in letting go, not in holding on. Imagine trying to hold onto a leaf as it drifts downstream. The harder you grip it, the more it slips away. If you let go and allow the leaf to float freely, it moves with the current, and you are at peace. Life is the same way. When we stop trying to control every moment, when we stop grasping at things that are slipping away, we are free. We become like the leaf, able to flow with life's natural rhythms. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the need to control or resist change. It means accepting that everything we love, everything we fear, and everything we desire is temporary. And that's okay. This acceptance of impermanence allows us to live fully in the present moment, without fear of the future or regret over the past. One of the most freeing things about understanding impermanence is that it teaches us not to take life too seriously. When we stop clinging to things, we begin to see life as a beautiful, fleeting experience, a series of moments that come and go. Each moment is precious, but it is not meant to last forever. And that makes it all the more meaningful. This understanding of impermanence also helps us deal with pain and loss. When we lose someone we love, it can feel like the end of the world. The grief feels overwhelming, and we wonder if we'll ever be the same. But the truth is, the pain will eventually ease. The wound will heal. We will carry the memory of the loved one, but we will also move forward. Life continues, as it always does. In that sense, impermanence offers us comfort. It reminds us that even in our darkest moments, change is always on the horizon. Similarly, impermanence helps us deal with the things we fear. Fear of failure, fear of change, fear of the unknown. We often resist change because we think it will bring something bad or uncomfortable. But change is inevitable, and it's not always a bad thing. In fact, change is often the source of growth. When we allow ourselves to let go of old patterns and fears, we make space for new opportunities. The fear of change becomes less frightening when we accept that everything is in constant flux. In our everyday lives, we can apply the principle of impermanence in many ways. When you find yourself worrying about something in the future, remember that everything changes. The situation you're worrying about may not even happen the way you imagine it. And if it does, you will have the strength to face it because you know that nothing lasts forever, neither the good nor the bad. Life will continue, and so will you. When you experience moments of joy, remember that they, too, are temporary. The beauty of a sunset, the laughter of a friend, the warmth of a hug, they are all fleeting. But instead of letting this make you sad, let it inspire gratitude. Because impermanence teaches us to appreciate life's fleeting moments. We know that they won't last forever, and that makes them all the more precious. In relationships, impermanence can teach us to love without attachment. We can enjoy the company of others without clinging to the idea that they will always be there in the same way. People change, relationships change, but love itself, in its purest form, does not require permanence. It can be a source of joy even in the face of change, because love, at its core, is not about possession. It is about connection. When we let go of the need for things to stay the same, we stop resisting life's flow. We stop fighting against the natural course of things. And in that surrender, we find peace. The Buddha spoke of nirvana, a state of liberation from suffering. And one of the ways to reach this state is through the understanding of impermanence. When we stop clinging to things that are fading away, we are no longer bound by the cycle of attachment and loss. We are free to experience life as it is, without fear or anxiety. The key to embracing impermanence is to develop a deep sense of mindfulness. By being present in each moment, we become aware of the changes happening around us and within us. We learn to accept them, to move with them instead of against them. And in doing so, we cultivate a life of peace and wisdom. Letting go of attachment is not easy. It takes time, patience, and practice. But it is possible. Each step you take toward understanding impermanence is a step toward freedom. And with each step, you will find that life becomes lighter, simpler, and more beautiful. You will learn to flow with the currents of life instead of fighting against them. And that, in itself, is a profound transformation. So, embrace the truth of impermanence. Let go of what no longer serves you. Release your fears, your worries, and your attachments. In doing so, you will find that life becomes less about holding on and more about living fully in the moment. You will find peace not in the things that you can hold on to, but in the freedom that comes from letting go. This is the path to true liberation, accepting that nothing lasts forever and finding joy in the fleeting beauty of life. When you can truly let go, you will experience a sense of freedom and peace that you never thought possible. You will be free from the chains of attachment and free to live with an open heart, fully present in each moment. And that is the greatest gift of all. Karma and rebirth, beyond life and death. Let's take a moment to think about something that might be difficult to grasp at first. What happens after we die? This is a question that has puzzled people for centuries, one that many of us wonder about at some point in our lives. Buddhism, however, offers a unique and profound perspective on life, death, and what happens after we're gone. It's not about mystery or belief in the unknown. It's about understanding the deep laws that govern our actions, thoughts, and the very nature of existence itself. In Buddhism, we are taught about karma, the law of cause and effect. Karma is not a system of rewards or punishments. It's the natural result of our actions. Every thought, word, and deed creates an impact, a ripple that touches everything around us. Good actions lead to good results, while harmful actions lead to suffering, not just for others, but for ourselves as well. This isn't just about what happens in this life. Karma extends beyond the boundaries of time. It's something that affects us not just now, but in future lives too. Now, let's take a moment to think about how this works. Imagine you plant a seed in the ground. If you take good care of it, water it, and give it sunlight, it will grow into a healthy plant. But if you neglect it, it will wither. In the same way, the actions we perform today are like seeds we plant in our lives. We don't always see the immediate results, but the impact of our actions will grow over time, shaping our future. This is the essence of karma. We are constantly planting seeds, and the quality of those seeds determines the kind of future we will experience. But karma doesn't just stop at the actions we take. It's also about our intentions. In Buddhism, it's not enough to do something good if our heart is filled with resentment, anger, or selfish desire. The purity of our intentions matters just as much as the action itself. When we act with kindness, compassion, and selflessness, we create positive karma, not just for ourselves, but for others as well. We create a world that is more loving and more peaceful. Now, let's talk about rebirth. In Buddhism, it's believed that when we die, we don't just disappear. Our consciousness continues, and it takes a new form. This is the cycle of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The experiences we have in each life are not random. They're the result of our past actions. So, the quality of the life we lead today shapes the circumstances of our future lives. If we live with wisdom, kindness, and compassion, our future will be brighter, filled with opportunities to continue our growth. On the other hand, if we live with greed, hatred, and ignorance, our future may be more difficult and filled with suffering. Rebirth is not about reincarnation in the traditional sense. It's not about the idea of a permanent soul or self that is transferred from one life to the next. Instead, it's about the continuity of our actions and the consequences they bring. Think of it as a flame passed from one candle to another. The flame is not the same, but it is the same in essence. In the same way, our actions and intentions carry forward, creating a new life, a new opportunity for growth and learning. You might wonder, what can I do about it? How can I change my karma, my future? The answer is simple: by living with awareness. Every moment is a chance to choose a path that leads to greater peace, greater happiness, and greater wisdom. It's about being conscious of our actions, words, and thoughts. It's about understanding that every decision we make has an impact, not just on ourselves, but on the world around us. In the present moment, we have the power to shape our future. If we make the effort to live with kindness, compassion, and wisdom, we can create a future where we are not trapped in a cycle of suffering, but instead are moving closer to freedom, peace, and enlightenment. This doesn't mean we can erase our past karma, but it does mean we have the ability to create a new beginning, to plant new seeds that will bear positive fruit in the future. But here's the important thing. Buddhism doesn't teach us to be afraid of our karma or rebirth. It's not a punishment or a prison. It's simply a law of nature. It's a guide, showing us that the way we live today will shape the life we lead tomorrow. And this gives us tremendous power. By understanding karma, we can begin to live in a way that reduces suffering, both for ourselves and for others. This is why Buddhism encourages us to be mindful of our actions. It teaches us to act with awareness, to be conscious of the impact we are having in the world. And it reminds us that we are not just living for today, we're living for the future, for the next moment, for the next life. Every moment is an opportunity to change the course of our life, to plant a seed of goodness that will grow into something beautiful in the future. If we look at the world through the lens of karma and rebirth, it gives us a sense of responsibility for our actions. We begin to see that everything we do has consequences, not just for ourselves, but for others. This is a call to live with mindfulness and compassion. It's a call to choose our actions wisely, to be conscious of the impact we are having, and to always strive for a life that is in harmony with the greater good. And as we practice this awareness, we begin to see that karma is not just about punishment or reward. It's about the natural unfolding of cause and effect. It's about recognizing that our actions have power, and with that power comes the responsibility to choose wisely. It's about taking control of our future by choosing a path that leads to peace, happiness, and wisdom. By understanding karma and rebirth, we learn to live with greater awareness, and as a result, we move closer to freedom from suffering. And this is the ultimate goal of Buddhism, to break free from the cycle of samsara, to end the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, and to reach a state of nirvana, a state of ultimate peace and liberation. This is the beauty of the teachings of Buddhism. They're not just about understanding life, they're about transforming it. By understanding karma and rebirth, we can take control of our destiny, shaping our future with every thought, word, and deed. It is a path that leads to greater freedom, to a life of purpose, peace, and enlightenment. And it is a path that, with awareness and practice, is available to each and every one of us. Mindfulness and meditation, tools for a tranquil mind. Let us begin with a simple question. How many times today did you find yourself rushing through life? Maybe you rushed through breakfast, checked your phone while walking, or hurried through a conversation because you had somewhere else to be. It's easy, isn't it? The world we live in encourages us to move quickly, to always be doing something, to keep up with the next task or goal. But what if I told you that slowing down, being present in each moment, could change everything? This is the essence of mindfulness. Mindfulness isn't some abstract, complicated practice. It's not a new age idea that requires you to be on some retreat in the mountains or isolated from the world. Mindfulness is simply the art of paying attention to the present moment, with full awareness and acceptance. It's about experiencing life as it unfolds, without rushing, without judgment, and without distraction. Imagine that you're sipping a cup of tea. Do you feel the warmth of the cup in your hand? Do you notice the delicate steam rising, the aroma filling the air? How often do we drink tea or coffee without really tasting it, without fully being there in that simple moment? In that single act, mindfulness invites you to focus on the experience itself, not on the worries of the past or the tasks waiting for you ahead. When you practice mindfulness, you start to notice the little things you would usually overlook. In Buddhism, mindfulness is a powerful tool for living with intention. It helps you break free from the constant chatter in your mind, the thoughts that pull you in 1,000 different directions. When you are mindful, you can create space between your reactions and your emotions. This space is where you find clarity and peace. It's where you can choose how to respond to the world around you, rather than just reacting automatically. But how do you develop mindfulness? This is where meditation comes into play. Meditation is the practice that allows you to strengthen your ability to be present and aware. It's like going to the gym for your mind. At first, it may feel difficult, like trying to lift weights that are too heavy. Your thoughts may wander, your mind may race, and you may wonder if you're doing it right. But with patience and practice, meditation becomes a tool that transforms your life. The beauty of meditation is that you don't need to be perfect at it. In fact, there's no such thing as perfect meditation. The goal is not to eliminate all thoughts, but to notice them without being overwhelmed by them. It's about observing what arises in your mind, letting it come and go without getting attached to it. Meditation teaches you to simply be, without striving, without judgment. Now, let's talk about why this is so important. We live in a time when stress and anxiety are an all-time high. Our minds are constantly active, overwhelmed by information and noise. We are pulled in many directions, and we feel disconnected from the present moment. This is where mindfulness and meditation can make a significant difference. These practices bring you back to yourself. They remind you that you don't have to chase happiness, success, or peace because they are already within you. When you meditate, you learn to quiet the mind. You step away from the busy thoughts, the worries, the regrets, and the fantasies. You sit with yourself, just as you are. And in that space, something beautiful happens. You start to experience a sense of calm that isn't dependent on anything outside of you. It's not tied to what you achieve or what you own. It's simply a deep sense of being, of existing in the moment without fear or desire. Mindfulness, too, teaches us how to live with greater awareness. You begin to notice the small details of life, the way the sun feels on your skin, the sound of birds outside your window, the taste of your food. This kind of awareness opens up a whole new world, one that is rich in experience and free from the distractions of our busy minds. But it's not just about noticing the good moments. Mindfulness helps you approach difficult times with a sense of calm. 2. When you face challenges, mindfulness allows you to pause before reacting. Instead of being swept away by frustration, anger, or sadness, you create space to respond with clarity. You can look at the situation from a broader perspective, see the bigger picture, and act with compassion instead of impulse. Over time, meditation and mindfulness become a habit. It's not just something you do for a few minutes in the morning or at night. It becomes a way of living. When you walk, you're mindful of each step. When you eat, you savor the taste. When you speak to others, you listen with your full attention. The beauty of mindfulness is that it extends to every part of your life, making even the most mundane tasks feel meaningful and purposeful. Let's take a moment to reflect on something. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the speed of life? Maybe you found yourself running on autopilot, just trying to get through the day. When was the last time you really paused and took a breath, just to check in with yourself? The pace of life can be exhausting, but mindfulness offers a way to slow down, to reconnect with what truly matters. Now, you might be wondering, what if I don't have time for meditation? What if my life is too busy? That's a common concern, and it's understandable. But the beauty of mindfulness is that it can be practiced anywhere, anytime. You don't need to sit in a quiet room for hours. You can practice mindfulness while washing dishes, walking to work, or even waiting in line at the store. The key is to bring your full attention to whatever you're doing, to be present with the moment. It's also important to remember that mindfulness isn't about achieving a state of constant calm. Life is filled with ups and downs, and mindfulness helps us navigate those changes with greater ease. It's about embracing the present moment, whatever it brings, with openness and without resistance. Meditation, on the other hand, provides a deeper opportunity for quieting the mind. As you sit in stillness, you begin to understand that your thoughts do not define you. They are simply passing clouds in the sky of your consciousness. Through meditation, you develop the ability to detach from your thoughts, to observe them without getting caught up in them. This is where true peace lies. Over time, as you continue to practice mindfulness and meditation, you'll notice subtle shifts in how you approach life. You'll respond with more patience, more clarity, and more kindness. The things that once triggered you will no longer have the same power over your emotions. You'll find that you are less anxious, less stressed, and more connected to the present moment. Mindfulness and meditation are not just practices, they are ways of living. They invite you to embrace the fullness of life, to find peace not by escaping from the world, but by fully engaging with it. With each breath, each step, each moment, you are cultivating a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. In the end, mindfulness and meditation help you rediscover the joy of being alive. They teach you to live not just in your head, but with your whole being. When you embrace these practices, you begin to see the world differently, less as a series of challenges to overcome, and more as an unfolding journey of peace, wisdom, and compassion. So, take a moment, breathe in, breathe out, and know that, in this very moment, you have the power to find peace within yourself. With mindfulness and meditation, you have the tools to create a tranquil mind, and a life that is full of meaning. Compassion and loving kindness, healing through heart wisdom. Imagine for a moment that you are walking through a busy street, the noise around you almost deafening. People are rushing to and fro, all caught up in their own worlds, each person with their own concerns, struggles, and desires. Yet, amidst all this chaos, you feel a sudden wave of warmth in your heart. It's a simple, quiet feeling, but it's so powerful. You look at the people around you, not as strangers, but as fellow human beings, each carrying their own burdens, each deserving of kindness. You don't judge them, you don't criticize them. Instead, you silently wish them well. You wish them happiness, peace, and freedom from suffering. This is the heart of compassion and loving kindness. Compassion and loving kindness are not just concepts or words in Buddhism. They're the essence of living a life that is in harmony with others and with oneself. These are the qualities that can heal not just our own hearts, but the hearts of those around us. The teachings of Buddhism emphasize that true happiness comes not from the pursuit of our own desires, but from the ability to love and care for others. It is through the act of giving, of wishing well for others, that we begin to find our own peace. But here's the thing. Compassion is not just a feeling, it is a practice. It's not something that just appears when we feel like it. It's something we must cultivate day by day, moment by moment. It's about training the mind to open up, to soften, to connect with others on a deeper level. It's about letting go of the barriers we've built around ourselves, barriers created by fear, judgment, and past hurts, and learning to see the world with a heart full of understanding and love. In Buddhism, this practice is known as metta, or loving kindness. It's a meditation, a reflection, a way of being in the world. It starts with ourselves. If we cannot love and care for ourselves, how can we truly extend that love to others? Loving kindness begins with accepting ourselves as we are, flaws and all, without judgment or condemnation. It's about recognizing that, just like everyone else, we too are worthy of love, care, and compassion. And when we learn to offer this love to ourselves, we are better able to offer it to others. The next step in this practice is to extend that love to others. We start with those closest to us, our family, our friends, those who already bring us joy. But it doesn't stop there. Loving kindness in Buddhism teaches us to extend this same love to strangers, to people we don't know, and even to those who may have hurt us. It's about seeing beyond the surface, beyond the actions of others, and recognizing the shared humanity we all share. Each person we meet is just like us, someone seeking happiness, peace, and love. And when we recognize that we can no longer treat them with indifference or anger, we begin to wish them well, as we would wish ourselves well. This practice of compassion isn't always easy. It requires patience and a willingness to look beyond our own hurt, beyond our own ego. But when we make the effort to practice loving kindness, we begin to see the world through different eyes. We start to understand that our happiness does not depend on getting what we want, but on giving of ourselves to others. We realize that by helping others, by wishing them well, we are also helping ourselves. There is a profound joy in this kind of giving, a joy that comes from knowing that our actions are bringing peace and healing to the world around us. Think about a time when someone showed you kindness. Perhaps it was a smile when you were feeling down, a kind word when you were struggling, or a simple gesture of support when you needed it most. Do you remember how it felt? How that small act of kindness lifted your spirits, even if just for a moment? Imagine how much more powerful that feeling could be if we were to practice compassion in every interaction, every day. Imagine how much more connected we would feel to the people around us. Imagine a world where everyone shared this same sense of loving kindness, where everyone was looking out for one another, wishing one another well. This is what Buddhism teaches us. Compassion is not just a feeling, it is a way of life. It is the foundation of a peaceful, harmonious world. And it begins with us. It begins with each of us choosing to see the world with eyes of love and understanding, to extend our hearts to others without reservation. It's about practicing kindness, even when it's difficult, and about learning to forgive, not just others, but ourselves as well. And here's the beauty of it. The more we practice compassion, the more it becomes a natural part of who we are. It stops being something we have to work at and starts becoming something we are. We no longer need to remind ourselves to be kind, to be loving. It becomes second nature. We become people who radiate warmth and peace. We become people who inspire others to do the same. But let's not be mistaken. This doesn't mean we become doormats or allow ourselves to be mistreated. Compassion is not about allowing others to take advantage of us. It is about setting healthy boundaries while still offering love and understanding. It is about recognizing that, just like us, others are imperfect, and their actions may come from their own suffering. Compassion is about understanding this and responding with kindness, even when we are hurt. It's about choosing love over hate, peace over anger, understanding over judgment. So, how do we begin this journey of compassion and loving kindness? Start small. Start with a simple wish. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. And when you say it, truly mean it. Feel the warmth in your heart and send that warmth out to the world. Practice this every day with everyone you meet. And slowly, you will begin to notice a change, not just in the world around you, but in yourself as well. You will feel lighter, more at peace, and more connected to the people you encounter. You will begin to see the beauty in others, even in their flaws and struggles. In the end, this is the true power of compassion. It heals. It heals us, and it heals the world. It transforms anger into peace, fear into understanding, and isolation into connection. It is the path to a life filled with love, joy, and inner peace. And it is a path that, with practice, we can all walk, no matter where we are in life, no matter how old we are, no matter what our circumstances may be. This is the gift of Buddhism, the gift of compassion and loving kindness. A gift that, once embraced, can change your life forever. Real stories of transformation, how Buddhism changed lives. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to feel disconnected from ourselves, constantly chasing after something, success, wealth, recognition, or just the next big thing. Many people live their lives in a cycle of stress, anxiety, and confusion, feeling like they're constantly searching for something, but never truly finding it. But what if there was a different way to live? What if you could change not just your perspective, but the very way you approach life's challenges? There are countless stories of people who have found transformation through the teachings of Buddhism. These aren't just abstract concepts or ideas from ancient texts. They are real-life stories of people who have applied Buddhist wisdom and changed their lives for the better. Each story is different, yet all share a common thread, a shift in the way they saw the world, and more importantly, how they saw themselves. Take the story of Sarah, for example. She was a successful businesswoman, always on the go, always chasing the next goal. On the outside, everything looked perfect. She had a career, a family, everything she was told would make her happy. But deep inside, Sarah felt empty. She was constantly anxious, stressed, and disconnected from the world around her. Nothing seemed to bring her lasting peace. One day, a friend introduced her to meditation, and from there, Sarah began her journey with Buddhism. At first, it wasn't easy. Her mind was restless, and she struggled to quiet her thoughts. But she persisted, practicing mindfulness every day, slowly learning to live in the present moment. As Sarah continued her practice, she began to see the world in a new way. She realized that much of her stress came from her attachment to external success and approval. Buddhism taught her to let go of this attachment and focus on what truly mattered: inner peace, compassion, and understanding. She learned to accept the impermanence of life and to embrace the idea that happiness doesn't come from external circumstances, but from within. Over time, Sarah's life transformed. She found more joy in the simple moments, like spending time with her family or taking a walk in nature. Her work became more meaningful, and her relationships improved. She felt a deep sense of calm and contentment, something she had never experienced before. Then there's Michael, a man in his 50s who had spent most of his life battling with anger and frustration. He had always felt misunderstood, constantly reacting to the world around him with impatience and resentment. His relationships with family and friends were strained, and he felt isolated. It wasn't until Michael hit a breaking point in his life that he turned to Buddhism. He was tired of feeling angry all the time and wanted to find peace. He started reading Buddhist teachings and practicing meditation. The teachings of compassion and mindfulness struck a chord with him. He began to see how his anger was rooted in his attachment to expectations and his inability to accept things as they were. As Michael meditated, he started to recognize the patterns of his thoughts and how they fueled his anger. Instead of reacting to everything with frustration, he learned to pause and breathe. He realized that much of his suffering came from the stories he told himself about the world and others. Through Buddhism, he learned to let go of these stories and approach life with more patience and understanding. Over time, Michael's relationships improved. He found himself laughing more, enjoying moments without the weight of anger hanging over him. He realized that his anger wasn't who he was. It was a learned response, something he could change. Buddhism didn't just teach him how to manage anger. It helped him transform it into compassion and understanding. These stories are not unique. There are millions of people around the world who have found peace and transformation through Buddhism. Whether it's overcoming addiction, healing from past trauma, or simply learning how to deal with the everyday stresses of life, Buddhism provides practical tools for creating lasting change. It's not about escaping life's challenges. It's about learning to approach them with wisdom and compassion. Take the story of John, a retired man in his 60s who had spent much of his life caught up in the hustle and bustle of work and family. After retiring, he found himself feeling lost, unsure of what his purpose was now. He felt disconnected from the world, like his life had lost its meaning. He began to explore Buddhism as a way to understand his feelings of emptiness. Through meditation, he started to reconnect with himself. He learned that his worth wasn't tied to his job or his accomplishments. Instead, he began to focus on being present in the moment, enjoying the simple things in life, like the warmth of the sun on his skin or the sound of birds singing in the morning. John's life didn't change overnight, but over time, he found a new sense of purpose. He started volunteering at a local shelter, offering his time and energy to help others. He found joy in helping those in need, and his sense of fulfillment grew. John learned that life isn't about chasing after external achievements. It's about finding meaning and connection in the present moment. He realized that his purpose was not to do, but to be. By practicing mindfulness and embracing the teachings of Buddhism, John discovered a new sense of peace and purpose in his golden years. There are also the countless stories of people who have used Buddhism to cope with loss and grief. Take the example of Lily, who lost her mother unexpectedly. The pain was overwhelming, and she struggled to understand how to move forward. She was consumed by sadness, unable to find a way through the grief. It wasn't until she turned to Buddhist teachings that she began to understand the nature of suffering. Buddhism taught her that grief is a natural part of life and that it's okay to feel pain. But it also taught her that suffering doesn't have to define us. Through mindfulness and meditation, Lily learned to sit with her grief, not as something to be fixed or avoided, but as a natural part of her experience. As Lily practiced, she found that her grief slowly transformed. It didn't go away, but she learned to carry it with more peace. She realized that by accepting her pain, she could let go of the resistance that caused her suffering. Instead of trying to push her feelings away, she learned to embrace them with compassion. Through this process, Lily found a sense of healing and understanding. She learned that grief, like all things, is impermanent. It's part of the cycle of life, and it can be a powerful teacher if we allow it to be. These stories show us that Buddhism isn't just a set of abstract teachings. It's a living, breathing practice that has the power to transform lives in profound ways. It offers a roadmap for finding peace in a chaotic world, for overcoming our attachments and desires, and for developing a deeper sense of compassion for ourselves and others. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about learning to live with awareness, kindness, and wisdom, one step at a time. As we look at these real-life transformations, it's clear that Buddhism isn't just for monks or people in distant lands. It's for anyone at any stage of life who is seeking a deeper connection with themselves and the world around them. Whether you're 25 or 75, struggling with anxiety, or simply seeking more peace, the teachings of Buddhism offer a path to transformation. And the best part? It's never too late to start. The journey ahead, embracing Buddhism in daily life. As we arrive at the final part of our journey, let's pause for a moment. Think about where you are now compared to when you first started watching this video. You've learned about the Buddha's life, the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, and how Buddhism can lead you to a life of peace and inner freedom. But now, the question remains, what happens next? How can you bring all of this wisdom into your everyday life? Buddhism isn't a distant dream or a far-off ideal. It's a way of living that can transform every aspect of your life, right here, right now. It's about being fully present in each moment. It's about bringing mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom into the very fabric of your daily routine. And this is where the real magic happens. When we start to live the teachings of Buddhism, we find that each moment holds an opportunity for growth, healing, and peace. In your daily life, there will always be moments of stress, frustration, and uncertainty. But when you practice mindfulness, you learn to respond to these moments with calm and clarity instead of reacting out of habit or emotion. You realize that you don't need to control everything. You don't need to have all the answers. Life isn't about perfect outcomes. It's about how you approach each challenge with an open heart and a peaceful mind. Take a moment right now to think about something that is causing you stress or anxiety. Maybe it's a relationship, work, health, or just the general noise of life. Now, imagine approaching that situation with the awareness that everything is impermanent. This moment, like all moments, will pass. The struggle you are facing will fade, just as the joy and success you experience will also fade. Nothing is fixed, and in that, there is freedom. This understanding doesn't mean you abandon your responsibilities or stop caring about the world around you. Far from it. Buddhism teaches us that everything we do can be an act of mindfulness, from the smallest task to the most significant life decision. Whether you're washing dishes, taking a walk, or having a conversation with someone, you can bring your full attention to the present moment. This is how you begin to live the teachings of Buddhism, by weaving mindfulness into the fabric of your everyday life. As you move forward, remember that Buddhism isn't about achieving a perfect state of being. It's about progress, not perfection. It's about the willingness to take small steps every day toward a more peaceful, compassionate, and wise way of living. And that's enough. Each small step you take brings you closer to the person you want to become. You don't need to worry about whether you're doing it right or wrong. Just keep moving forward, one step at a time, with patience and kindness toward yourself. What I want you to understand is that the path of Buddhism is not a destination. It's a journey of learning, unlearning, and relearning. It's about discovering who you truly are and connecting with the deepest parts of yourself. It's about letting go of the need to control everything and simply allowing life to unfold with all its beauty and challenges. As you walk this path, you will make mistakes, you will stumble, but you will also grow, and that's the point. Incorporating Buddhist teachings into your life isn't something that happens overnight. It's a lifelong practice. But I promise you, if you commit to it, you will begin to notice subtle shifts in your perspective. Over time, you'll find that you no longer seek happiness in external circumstances, but in the way you relate to yourself and the world around you. You'll learn to embrace the present moment, letting go of worries about the past and future. You'll start to see that everything, no matter how difficult or unpleasant, has something to teach you. This is the power of Buddhism. Now, think about how Buddhism can shape the way you interact with others. Imagine being able to approach every relationship with compassion and understanding. Imagine how your interactions might change if you were able to listen deeply, without judgment, and respond with kindness rather than reacting out of habit or frustration. This is the power of loving kindness and compassion, two of the core principles of Buddhism. These qualities not only help you connect with others on a deeper level, but they also bring more peace and joy into your own heart. As you continue to walk the path, remember that it's okay to not have all the answers. Buddhism teaches us that the pursuit of wisdom is not about accumulating knowledge or reaching some final state of perfection. It's about cultivating an open mind and a kind heart. It's about being willing to embrace life as it is, without trying to force things to be different. And in doing so, we find peace. Now, you might be wondering, how do I continue this journey in a world that often feels overwhelming and chaotic? The answer is simple. Keep practicing. Keep coming back to the teachings, even when life gets busy, even when things feel hard. Set aside time each day, even if it's just for a few minutes, to breathe, to be still, to connect with your inner self. Whether through meditation, mindfulness, or simply taking a moment to observe your thoughts, practice brings transformation. As you continue practicing, you'll start to notice that the small things, the simple moments, begin to feel more meaningful. You'll realize that happiness isn't something you have to chase, but something that arises naturally when you live with awareness and compassion. The more you practice, the more you'll see that peace is not an external state to achieve, but an internal way of being. It's about cultivating peace in your heart, so that no matter what's happening in the world around you, you can still find stillness within. So, as you step forward into the world, carry these teachings with you. Let them guide you, not just on the cushion, but in every aspect of your life. Remember, Buddhism is not about escaping the world. It's about fully engaging with it in a way that brings peace to your heart and to those around you.